Would be good.
That's fair. Football?
Football.
Football.
Let's talk about
I'm
football.
gonna mute my mic because I don't know what I'm talking about.
We have about halfway through the season now.
Yeah, halfway through.
Halfway through.
It's looking weird. It's a weird league this year. I don't know how I feel about it.
Let's talk about the 49ers.
49er, like, I have no idea where they came from. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo is just an amazing.
He's an amazing quarterback. Amazing quarterback. He's doing wonders there, and like for him to bring that team from what were they last year? They were almost not bottom of the league. I don't know if they made it to playoffs last year. I don't even know if they made it last year.
No, they didn't. Because Garoppolo was hurt the whole year.
But with him back, he's doing a very impressive job. So I think they're going to continue to do it. Who's their upcoming this week? San Francisco is the Seahawks. So
I think the Seahawks are going to win that game personally. Speaking of the Seahawks, Russell Wilson just continues to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
It's just it's his speed. It's straight out. It's his speed. It's his knowledge inside the pocket to know when to leave is probably the best in the NFL. I want to put out, maybe not the best, but he's so knowing and he's so knowledgeable on when to get out of that pocket and when that pocket's collapsing. Like
which doesn't happen very often.
It doesn't happen very often. Those pockets will collapse within a matter of like a second and a half, and he's out of there already. Like he's long gone.
And his pump fake too is one of the best in the league.
Yeah, he's a very good quarterback. He's got good receivers though this year too. His receiving core has really stepped up this year, and they're bringing down balls. So
I cannot wait until DK Metcalf is actually that beast that he's supposed to be.
He's supposed to be, yeah.
Another team surprising everybody right now, the Ravens.
Ravens
beating the Patriots last night.
Beating the 8-0 Patriots at the time.
Lamar Jackson is just unreal.
Yeah, I'd put him into the same boat as Russell Wilson here. Like he's fast. He's using his speed to his advantage, and he's connecting with his receivers on a different level than everyone else is. I think another quarterback to put out there is going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Once he comes back.
He comes back. The stuff I've seen out of Patrick Mahomes is absolutely crazy. I've never seen a quarterback been able to run out of the pocket and throw a 60-yard bullet down the field without
Rodgers.
Just on the back of his ankle.
Yeah.
Like that's ridiculous. That's something that doesn't happen a lot in the league. And I think if he can recover fully from this injury and continue to do that, I think Kansas City's gonna have an attempt at the.
They're the Super Bowl favorites as soon as he comes back.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of teams that are kind of Super Bowl favorites right now. I think Baltimore is up there. Baltimore's up there for sure. Kansas City's up there. Seahawks are up there.
Ravens.
49ers are up there just based off the fact that they're undefeated right now. I did not expect the. I'll get to the Packers in a minute here. I'm a Packers fan and I'm pissed. I was not expecting San Francisco to be the last team undefeated. I was thinking. Obviously, at the beginning of the year, I wasn't too sure and wasn't too confident in New England, just based off the fact that they did lose Gronk, who was one of their main receivers on third down. They would go to Gronk every time over the top, and I didn't really know how Brady was going to bounce back to that. But like Edelman has stepped up like crazy. He is an absolute beast on the field.
The fact that they got rid of Josh Gordon in their receiving core is still the way that is.
Oh, it's nuts.
Speaking of Josh Gordon going to Seattle, it's going to be huge.
It's good. He needs to change.
He needs to get on the field.
All right. That's on my phone. The Green Bay Packers. Let me talk about the Green Bay Packers for a second. We're 7-2. So obviously we're sitting pretty. Like we're not falling to the bottom of the league. We still have potential to make
Vikings
playoffs.
Are scary.
Vikings are scary. But at the same time, what in the absolute hell was that game against the Chargers?
Chargers have a good defense.
They have a good defense, but like Packers offense was essentially back to full strength. You have Devontae Adams back. You have a healthy Aaron Rodgers. You have a healthy O-line. And you managed to get one of the lowest recorded Packers offensive yardage in 3/4 of football. 82 yards in 45 minutes of football for the Packers offense with a full healthy offense. That's been the story of the Packers this year, though. Their offense it's slack. It's not what it used to be.
For once, the defense is better than the offense.
It is. It really is. Defense is really keeping us in, and defense is why we're at a 7-2 record. I think Aaron Rodgers getting rid of Randall Cobb in the offseason, getting rid of Nelson, getting rid of Richard Rodgers or whatever his name was. That really took an effect on Green Bay. They have Devontae Adams
and
Scantling for their receiving core.
Who took a huge step back this year.
Yeah, and then they don't have very much for running. They're running Jones right now, and he's doing okay.
Well, he was solid last year. He came out running.
Oh yeah, but he's a little slack this year. I think he's still gonna be one of the top running backs in the league by the end of it. Hopefully, but there's a lot of competition out there for running backs this year. Running backs are they're flying this year. It's definitely a run league this year. I remember watching last year, and it was like every second play, no matter what game it was a pass.
Yeah.
This year, it's like every single down is a run because they have such fast and strong running backs at this point and on every team.
One player I do want to say who's a running back who I think is definitely in the MVP voting right now is Christian McCaffrey.
McCaffrey's unreal.
Like he can catch the ball. I think he's their punt returner too.
Yeah.
Like he can do everything. He's projected to have 2,408 total yards or something like that, which is ridiculous. He's projected to have like the third most touchdowns in NFL history. He's on fire, and this is with Josh Allen as his quarterback.
The issue, man, I'm having some issues with some teams though, especially Cleveland.
Cleveland is annoying because
they have so much potential. You have a quarterback like Baker who's
not throwing the ball at Odell, by the way.
Yeah, he's young. He's fast. He's aggressive, but he's not throwing the ball to the receivers that he should be. Obviously, you're going to get the double teaming on Odell,
which is great for Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, but that's the thing is you have double team on Odell, but that leaves one-on-one coverage for Jarvis Landry.
You're not throwing it to him.
And you're giving it to these first-year receivers who obviously, you need to give them the pass here and there, but when Jarvis Landry's one-on-one wide open on the back of the field and you throw it 5 yards on 3rd and 22, that's a little iffy. That's where I get a little frustrated, and I think Baker was kind of cocky coming into the season, saying like, "Hey, we have receivers, we're coming for you," and he's not using the receivers as much as he should be. But I do like that they're using Nick Chubb a lot. He's doing well, but at the same time, they're 2-6. They need to figure something else out.
Well, they need to figure out what they're going to do with Odell, because Odell is averaging 40, 50 yards a game.
If that.
He's barely getting the ball at all. And that needs to change because he's obviously their best receiver. Jarvis Landry should have at least maybe 700, 800 yards right now because they should be giving him the ball because he's in single coverage.
Yeah, well, and I think from the games that I've watched from Cleveland, every single time they have, not every single time, but a lot of the times they have Odell running the crossing route right to the outside of the field, right to the boundary. And obviously if that's what you're going to run, that's what you're going to run as a coaching staff. But at a certain point, you need to realize that he's one of your fastest receivers, and sending him out to the boundaries every single play is kind of restricting the amount that he can run after he catches it. Obviously, you're not going to get 100-plus yards after catch with Odell if he keeps running the out route. You need to have that zigzag route in the middle, have him cut through the middle. He's fast enough to burn those corners on an inside route.
Yeah.
They choose to run them to the outside, and that's just they're not going to get anywhere with that.
I am shocked that they have not fired Kitchens yet. They fired his offensive coordinator, but they didn't fire him himself.
Yeah, but
another thing I was going to say, I want to talk about a team in the same division as the Packers, and that's my team, the Detroit Lions. It is extremely frustrating to watch them give up leads in every single game.
Oh, yeah.
This team should probably be
They should be pushing to top of that division with
Yeah.
Green Bay. They should be at a 7-2 roughly record. Like
Yeah.
from the games that they've started, I would say out of the 8 games that they've played, they've started 6 with an advantage.
Like they should have
coming
beat the
into
Raiders
half.
2 nights ago.
Yeah.
They let Derek Carr and that crappy offense do work. Josh Jacobs is a great running back, though, I will say that.
Yeah.
But this team is just constantly giving up leads. It's just Matthew Stafford's playing one of his best seasons since Calvin Johnson,
Yeah.
and they're not producing. They have no run game. They for some reason gave up on Johnson for no reason.
Yeah. One. You just
Sorry,
you look,
carry on,
at, you
Johnson,
look
by
at
the
their
way.
losses too. Like even their loss to the Green Bay,
They shouldn't.
that was like a 2-point loss or something like that. Like that's the issue that they're having is so right now their points for to compared to their points against is 204 to 217. 217 points against.
Yeah.
Like that's a 13-point difference. That's 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's devastating for Detroit. Like that's hard to look at and be like, well, we're producing offensively. Defensively, we're not stopping anything. And defensively coming into the second half, they need to work on their second half game.
Yeah.
They're going hard in the first half, but they wear themselves out first half and can't compete second half. So, what time are we? We're at an hour.
I don't know. Keep
Keep
going.
going, keep going.
Keep going.
So we could even split this into 2 podcasts and make it one NFL talk and one hockey talk. Another thing I do want to talk about with the Lions, though, before we do anything else, we're basically having the reverse of what we had 3 years ago, where we kept having those comebacks.
Yeah.
Like, this is just basically a flip of what happened then. They have all these. They're finally giving the ball to Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Thank God, yeah.
Like, they had to do that for so long, and they just haven't been doing that the last couple of years, and they're finally doing it, and it's paying off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think another team to look at, too, is Pittsburgh. The Steelers definitely had a lot of potential coming into the season, but I think after the first week with Ben Roethlisberger going down, losing AJ, having just depended on Smith-Schuster on that receiving core and a couple other guys that I don't even know the names of because I haven't watched a lot of Pittsburgh football. But at the same time, Rudolph is doing very well.
Yeah, he's playing very
for
well.
the Steelers.
Yeah.
He's definitely taken he's fit right into the shoes of Big Ben.
Which should give him a lot of confidence.
Oh yeah, like they're at a 4-4. They're by no means out of it. They're playing the Rams next, which is going to be a tough game because the Rams defense is just on a different level. Same with Oakland. Oakland's been on fire too.
Yeah, and you thought their defense was good, and then they traded for Ramsey.
Yeah. But I think a team that's continuing their downfall is Denver.
Yeah.
Ever since Peyton Manning left, they just they're starting. Well, Peyton Manning, Von Miller,
Yeah.
all those guys leaving that's devastating to both offense and defense.
Von Miller
Like,
after this year, I think his contract's up after this year. He's gone.
I think so. Yeah.
I can see him going to like Oakland or something.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about that game last week between the Browns and the Broncos, the fact that the Broncos are so far down right now and they're still beating the Browns.
Yeah. No, the Browns need to wake up. Cincinnati needs to wake up too.
Cincinnati.
0-8, have not won a game yet.
I think they just keep losing. Because I think they need Tua.
They need first pick.
Yeah,
They need a
Tua.
first pick.
They need Tua so badly. They need to change up at quarterback because they've had Dalton with his pocket passing looking ass for the past 10 years and it's not working.
Yeah. I think. Where are they? I don't even know if they've won yet. I think I did hear them win a game, but Dolphins, yeah.
They won that game against.
Where the hell are they?
Who did they beat? I can't remember.
Tennessee, Cincinnati.
Oh no, I
What
forgot.
the frig? Oh, there they are. Dolphins and the Jets are both 1-7.
Oh yeah,
The
right,
Jets. Oh my God.
It is so frustrating to watch all the hype behind Sam Darnold and then they suck.
They suck. They're not doing anything with him. Mind you, he just came back from mono, but he's played 2 weeks since then, and
He's got more
really
interceptions
has
than
not.
touchdowns.
Yeah, he's really not done that well. I'm gonna look at his stats actually because I am quite curious. He's got over 1,000 passing yards, but he's in my mind he's
He's
not what he's made out to be.
And then Le'Veon Bell coming into New York being all confident that he's going to be good, and he only has like 300 yards rushing or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, he has not been good, which is frustrating for me because that Jets team is supposed to be competing with New England right now.
Yeah. Like, Sam Darnold is averaging 6.2 yards per throw with 9 interceptions. 9 interceptions on 174 attempts.
How many touchdown passes? Yeah.
He's got 6.
So he's got more interceptions than touchdowns. Speaking of more interceptions than touchdowns, usually Winston's played pretty well this year. I like the way that Winston's been playing. His team can't get a win to save their life.
Yeah.
Their defense is letting them down at this point. But like, Winston is so confusing to me though, because one game he looks absolutely spectacular, like that night against Seattle the other night, and then there's games where he just looks awful.
Well, I remember watching the game. I forget when it was. It was Thanksgiving weekend. I was watching the Buccaneers play, and he threw 4 picks and I think 2 quarters of football. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is...
Like some days he looks like he could take a step, and then the next game looks like he's going to take a step back and get benched.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird looking.
And then Mariota getting benched for Tannehill. Honestly, I think it was a good decision. I like Tannehill a lot. I don't think he got enough credit for the Dolphins. What the hell? You threw me off. How dare you do the whoa?
How dare you do the whoa?
Anyway, I think he took a lot of he's been injured the last 3 years almost, and he took a lot of burden on the loss of the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And they just kind of gave up on him for Josh Rosen. I'm just going to say.
So here's the thing that I'm confused with in the league right now. Carolina has a quarterback issue that they are trying to figure out, to say the least. They are continuing to start Kyle Allen.
Oh, not Josh Allen, Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen, yeah, sorry.
I said Josh earlier.
Instead of Newton. And I don't know if that's as smart as move as they think it is.
Well, because Newton's still hurt, right?
Obviously, Newton's not playing to the best of his abilities.
And he's barely
you're killing that guy's confidence by starting Allen over him. But at the same time, Newton needs to pick up his game a lot. Yeah. It's not even about his injuries at this point. It's just his accuracy seems to be falling.
Honestly,
like his throws are just not on point to what they were for the last couple of years that he's been playing.
I think even if Newton was completely healthy, I still think they would be playing Allen right now just because they're...
Oh, yeah. They've shown so much confidence in Kyle Allen over Cam Newton that putting Newton in is just going to put him in a spot where it's like, I don't know where to throw this because I don't know if my team has confidence in that I can get it there. But, again, that's something that's behind the scenes Cam Newton that he needs to figure out. So...
Speaking of quarterback situations, the Jacksonville Jaguars should not go back to Nick Foles. I think they should stick with Minshew.
Dude, Gardner Minshew is playing very well.
He's only thrown 4 interceptions in 9 weeks. I think he's got 16 touchdown passes. He's been absolutely unreal. And Jacksonville has a decent record. They're only 4-5, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, like, you just got to ride this wave. Like, he's got huge publicity right now.
Mm-hmm.
This team is on the map again. I don't know why Jalen Ramsey wanted to leave so fast, though. But, you know. But this team has so much potential with Minshew that I think they should keep him there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, you paid Foles $88 million.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably going to go back to him. Minshew's going to lose all of his confidence, probably.
Yeah. I think another quarterback duo that is doing very well due to injury is going to be the Saints, with Drew Brees still being injured. Teddy Bridgewater has played very well for the Saints. Like, obviously, he's not Drew Brees, but there's only so much you can do with a quarterback like Drew Brees being out. And I think Teddy Bridgewater has stepped up to that position very well. Like, he has 9 TDs with 2 interceptions. Like, those are good stats. In 7 games, like, that's over a touchdown a game. So,
yeah. I've been saying this for years. I think the Dolphins should pick up Teddy Bridgewater.
I think so, too.
I think that could be their quarterback of the future. They need a quarterback that can be mobile and who can pass the ball inside the pocket. They thought they had that with Josh Rosen this offseason when they got him. It's not working out. But
Just stop playing Fitzgerald. No, it's not Fitzgerald, is it?
Yeah, it is. It's Ryan.
is.
It's Ryan Fitzy. With his
God,
beard.
that guy's just so...
He's so inconsistent.
He is.
Like Fitzmagic last year, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this year for the NFL is going to be... It's going to be right down to the wire for a couple of teams. Like, it's going to be winners of the last game, like season finales that are going to go to playoffs. And
actually, that'd be a fun little game we could play.
I'd be
making the playoffs.
I'd be okay with that though. I want an intense finale. I don't want in New England. That's all I know.
I don't want New England in this goddamn.
I think as of now, my fan favorite to win obviously is going to be the Packers.
That's obviously
because
your
I'm a
fan
Packers
favorite,
fan. But as a person, like in terms of outside of the Packers, I think a team that I would really like to see win is probably either going to be Kansas City or Baltimore. I want to see one of those two teams. Another team that I would be interested in seeing in a Super Bowl would be Buffalo.
That would be cool.
Buffalo.
I love Josh. I love Josh Allen.
Yeah.
The actual Josh Allen, not the wannabe that I said earlier instead of Kyle Allen. I love his game. I love the way that he's been leading this team.
Oh, yeah.
I love this defense. The receivers are receivers. Another team that I want to potentially make it to the Super Bowl, Houston. Sean Watson, in my opinion, the MVP race right now should be Wilson, Lamar Jackson, then Deshaun Watson. Those are the three.
Yeah.
All of them are mobile quarterbacks. That's the future of this game. Mobility is key in this league now.
Oh yeah.
And I think Lamar Jackson, if he continues to play the way he is, should be MVP because he's going to rush for over 1,000 yards.
Oh yeah. Well, what is he at for rushing now?
I think that's
I'm gonna check.
700 something.
He's up there. Lamar Jackson.
700 and something. Must be like 900 something. I'm wrong.
637 yards.
Okay. And that's only halfway through the year. He's projected to have 1,300, I believe.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, he's got 99 attempts for 630. He's averaging 6.4 yards a carry as a quarterback. That's impressive. That's impressive.
And
Especially
Wilson,
when you have a backup running back in Mark Ingram. That's devastating.
and Mark Ingram was even playing well, too.
Oh, yeah.
And then, not to mention that Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson are seeing this and are starting to rush the ball more, too.
Yeah.
Like, this quarterback league is going to be insane coming up these next couple of years because we have so many players that can throw well moving, rush the ball. There's so many different quarterbacks that can do that. And I think sooner or later, pocket passing is going to be an anomaly.
Yeah. Well, I said it earlier. The league this year has gone so far away from the make those long passes and those cut passes and stuff like that, and just focus on running it straight down the middle. And a lot of teams are doing that, especially with. Obviously, they showed us this last year and the year before, but the Cowboys with Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, those two play very well together, and they combat each other very well. I know Ezekiel Elliott doesn't have the most yards for rushing. He doesn't have a lot of yards. But the guy's punched in 6 touchdowns in 8 games.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty crazy.
Well, if you look at the top 10 teams in the league, San Francisco, Jimmy Garoppolo can run and throw the ball.
Yeah.
Mobility is key with him. Although he is more of a pocket passer, I think. But New England, Tom Brady, he'll be gone pretty soon here. So, I mean, he's still a pocket passer. Saints, most of their wins came from Teddy Bridgewater, a mobile quarterback. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers can obviously move pretty well, throw the ball pretty well off the run, stuff like that. Seahawks, Russell Wilson, obviously mobility. Josh Allen, mobility. Ravens, mobility. Kansas City, mobility. Kirk Cousins is like, yeah. He can kind of throw the ball, but not really, or kind of run, but not really. Cam Newton on the Panthers, I mean, once he comes back. Prescott, Brissett. Like, there's so many mobility-friendly quarterbacks in this league.
Well, and they have to be.
Yeah.
They at this point.
Because you have to run away.
Defensive, like, in terms of defense in the NFL, there's not a lot of teams out there that have a shitty defense this year. Defense is definitely the stars this year. I think the only team that would be having issues in terms of defense is definitely the Dolphins. Dolphins are struggling with their defense.
So is Washington.
As well as New York, the Giants.
Oh man, the Giants are they're
They're
annoying.
in something else. But all right, to finish it off, prediction Super Bowl final. Who's going to be in the Super Bowl this year?
I'm gonna go with Kansas City. Hold on, I gotta make sure that I get this right. So Kansas City versus New Orleans, with Kansas City win.
I have two suggestions.
That's what I have to actually. Now looking at the rest of this,
I have my preferred one as
Bay.
Green Bay and Houston,
okay.
with preferably Green Bay taking it. But my other one is definitely going to be, I'm going to say Dallas and Baltimore, with Baltimore taking it, but it's going to be a very close game. And it's going to be a defensive heavy game.
My second one is 49ers and Seahawks in the divisional final, just because that game would be insane with their history. Sherman playing against his former team. And then I have San Francisco versus the Ravens, rematch from a couple of years ago, with the 49ers winning. That's my second one.
Okay, one final question. What do you think? Who do you think is going to be the team that takes out New England? Do you think if the standings were to go in there the way it is looking right now, so New England first, going up against, I guess it would be Carolina.
Playoff picture. There we go. That's better.
It'd be Carolina at this point.
So if the playoffs started today, if this would load for me. Come on.
My thing is, I don't think Carolina has the strength to do it. I know Baltimore had the strength to do it, but they're an aggressive mobility team, and I don't think the Carolina Panthers are that.
As of right now, if the playoffs started today, the wild cards would be the Colts and Texans and then the Bills and the Chiefs, with the first seeds being the Ravens and the Patriots.
Yeah.
So for example, Texans would win, they'd face the Patriots. I don't think they would beat them. I think if any team is going to beat them, it's the Ravens or the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's the only way to get them away from the Super Bowl.
That's fair. I agree with that.
Because I don't
don't know why I was saying Carolina. That's in the NFC.
Yeah.
That'd be Super Bowl.
I mean, that'd be a nice rematch from 10 years ago. Or
10 years ago.
16 years ago.
Holy mackerel.
16 years ago. 2003? 2002? Remember the heck that was?
Anyways, yeah. That's, I think that's probably everything.
Alright, so that's all for us today here at TVB. Thank you guys for watching. We will see y'all later. Bye!